presentation is validation of Unani treatment in hypertension. Now, before starting my discussion on the treatment, I would like to say that we have done a very preliminary study on cupping. That is a treatment, cupping treatment is done in the cases of hypertension or in cases of IMTALA. So before going into the study, I would like to say something about the treatment strategy, what we do in the Unani system of medicine. These are the three methods of treatment in Unani system of medicine. It is not the way of treatment in just hypertension, but this is the way of treatment in almost all of the diseases. One is ilaj bi dawa or pharmacotherapy. Now, I would like to say the pharmacotherapy means the treatment by the drugs. Now, a lot of trials have been done before this on the drug treatment. Even when I was in my MD, even my students, they have done trials on the drugs also. But on Ilaj bi Tadbir, no study has been done till now. So we thought that we must do something on the Ilaj bi Tadbir. Now, what is this Ilaj bi Tadbir? Ilaj bi Tadbir, Ilaj bi Tadbir have a very important mode of treatment for elimination and evacuation of the waste product in the body. According to the Unani system of medicine, if the morbid material are accumulated in the body, in the humors, they increase in the body. That is known as IMTALA. So if the IMTALA happens in the body, abnormal humors accumulate in the body, they increase in the quantity or the quality is disturbed, then a disease is produced because the humors in the body, they remain in a balanced position. So if this balance is lost, then a disease is produced. So here, what we do by cupping therapy, we withdraw that blood. That is known as imala. In Unani system of medicine, that is known as imala. So we are withdrawing the blood which is bad in quality or which has increased in the amount. So we have some important modes of treatment which come in the Ilaj bi Tadbir. One is important is hijamat. The other is first or the venesection. These are the two important methods, and one is leaching, by which we withdraw the blood and we suck out the diseased blood. So when this diseased blood has come out of the body, the blood pressure comes down because we think that imala is produced or imtala is produced because of the more amount of humus or the bad amount of the humus. So these therapies, these three therapies, they withdraw that amount of blood and then the blood pressure comes down. So based on that, a very preliminary study, we have done a study. The name is Evaluation of Efficacy of Hijamat Bushult on Zabdul Qawi Ibtadai, or that's known as the primary hypertension. Now, in modern literature, there is no description that the cupping should be done in cases of hypertension. So why we had taken, or why we are doing this cupping in cases of hypertension? From where we had taken this? So in the old literature, we have found that in cases of IMTALA, we have found the same sign and symptom what are found in case of hypertension. So that's why we have selected this Hijamat Bushult in case of hypertension. The methodology used. Now we had taken the patients of mild hypertension only and the cases of primary hypertension. So the blood pressure ranges from 140 to 159 mmHg and the diastolic blood pressure from 90 to 99 mmHg. Age between 28 to 65 years and both sexes. And of course there should be some exclusion criteria because now here we are dealing with the blood. So we specifically had done HIV and SPSEG, and we had definitely excluded the cases of secondary hypertension and severe and moderate hypertension. And as such, patient below 28 and above 65 years of age, pregnancy, lactation, there's a whole set of exclusion criteria that the patient of this disease has been excluded from our study. Of course, the ethical clearance was sought from the National Institute of Unani Medicine, Institutional Ethical Committee. Informed consent was taken from all the patients. Then clinical evaluation of the disease was done, where the repeated blood measurements were taken, and the patient of mild hypertension was selected for our study. All those patients who were included in the inclusion criteria. Then the medical history and physical examination was also done to mainly exclude the secondary hypertension. Of course, some laboratory investigations were also done. These are the laboratory investigations because we are dealing with the bloodletting. So bleeding time and clotting was done. Routine urine routine and microscopic serum electrolyte, fasting blood sugar, lipid profile, electrocardiogram, HIV and HbSC was also done. It was done to exclude the secondary hypertension mainly. Yes, then some investigation like liver function test, serum creatinine, blood urea, and hemogram, they were also done to assess the safety criteria. Yeah, now we talk about the study design. The study design was kept as open, randomized, and standard control. Sample size was 50 patients, and these 50 patients were allocated into two groups, test group and the control group. Test group comprised 30 patients, and the control group comprised of 20 patients. Duration of protocol therapy was 8 weeks in both test and control group, and the assessment of the misses was done in all the cases. Yeah, now the treatment. Treatment part is important. Treatment in test group was given by applying 2 cups. In Arabic, we know the region as al-kahil. This al-kahil is the interscapular area excluding vertebral column. So first it was disinfected locally, and then 2 cups were applied. These cups were applied at least for the 10 minutes, and then these cups were then taken out. Then 2 sterile manual suction cups were, after that suction cups were removed after 10 minutes, and multiple incisions of 4 mm in length and 2 mm in depth were made with the tip of brand new sterile surgical blade. The manual suction cups were again applied over the incised area to draw 30 ml of blood into the cups. This procedure was done only at the outset of the study. We had drawn the blood only for the one time. It is important. So we are not withdrawing the blood again and again during the 8th week of study. And then surgical wounds were treated with povidone iodine dressing. Treatment in the control group was given atenolol tablet, 25 mg orally in tablet form once a day. Yeah, this is how we had applied the cup, because this is the study which has been done for the very first time, because this is the therapy which was done in the Middle East usually early. So now we are seeing a renaissance of this therapy in many diseases. So we are doing this in hypertension. So these 2 cups were applied in the interscapular area for 10 minutes. So now you see that 1 cup is removed and 1 cup is still there. So after being in place for 10 minutes, this area has been sucked out and has swollen. In the next diagram, this is the next picture, you see that both of the cups have been removed, and you see both circumscribed area which has been swollen and it's been filled with the blood. After that, small incisions were made. Multiple incisions, almost 20 incisions were made, and then the cups were applied all over again. Again the suction, we had given suction, and it withdraws blood into both of these cups. The cups are removed then. These are the cups which have been removed, half detached cup, and it was collected in a vessel. So we had drawn only 30 ml blood. 30 ml blood only. Yeah, now there are some parameters. The subjective parameters included headache, palpitation, dizziness, breathlessness, fatigue, and weakness, and objective parameters as systolic and diastolic blood pressure. Follow-up of the patient was done once weekly for the first month and fortnightly for the second month to assess the parameters. This is a demography. So in our study, we had male patients 94%, and 100% patients had mixed diet. Then non-smoker was 76%, and non-alcoholic were 98%. So this is again demography. This is the effect of Hijamad-Bush-Schultz, that is the cupping on subjective parameters. So we see that we had a very good effect on the headache. We had applied this chi-square test for the statistical analysis. So in headache, we had a very good result. Then in palpitation, then good result in weakness. So these are the subjective parameters. Now these are the objective parameters. That is the blood pressure. We had assessed blood pressure, and we had applied Friedman test for the intergroup with Dunn's multiple comparison test and Kuskal-Wallis test for the intergroup with Dunn's multiple comparison test. We see that in systolic blood pressure, our cupping therapy it has reduced the blood pressure significantly from the second week. The letter A and B is used for the level of significance in intra-group comparison, and C and D is used for the intergroup comparison. Now if we see how the blood pressure behaves after the cupping, we see that in the second week, you see C is there. So C indicates that the cupping therapy is significant in comparison to the control group. So the blood pressure has come down on the second week, while there is no C or D in control group. It means it was not significant at all throughout the 8th week. So test group maintained a significant effect in systolic blood pressure. Now, same tests were applied in the diastolic blood pressure also. But here now we see that in diastolic blood pressure, control group has significant result in comparison to the test group. We didn't find any effect in diastolic blood pressure. Of course, diastolic blood pressure, if we compare from the 0 day to the second week or third week or the fourth week, yeah, definitely there was result. There was significant reduction in the blood pressure. But if we compare it with the control group, then we see that the control group has much more significant reduction in diastolic blood pressure. So it continues from first week. There you see D is there in the control group, D, then D. That is a very significant effect that we have found in the control group all throughout 8th week. Then safety profile. As I already told you that we had done some tests for the safety profile. So Hijamad-Bush-Schultz is a safe procedure as no significant variation in normal range of hemogram, KFT and RFT was observed after the test treatment. Now discussion is actually important. If we look it by the eye of the United States of medicine, then it can be discussed quite tenably that if there is IMTALA in the body, the humors are more in quantity. And of course we know that if the blood volume is more, then it increases the blood pressure also. So by the technique of Hijamad-Bush-Schultz, we are withdrawing blood. But one thing is also important, we are just withdrawing 30 ml of blood, then why the blood pressure is coming down? That is important. According to our theory that I told you, that humors can increase in quantity or quality. So if the quality may also be disturbed. So if this bad quality humor is withdrawn from the body, it doesn't matter how much is it. If it is 30 ml, still the blood pressure can come down. So that way the blood pressure came down in test group. The conclusion is that Hijamad-Bush-Schultz is a safe procedure, and Hijamad-Bush-Schultz shows significant improvement that 1 ml per kg blood should be withdrawn from the body. But it still was denied due to some ethical concerns. So the ethical committee said, no, you have to take only 30 ml blood. That's why we had withdrawn only 30 ml blood. Otherwise, we wanted to withdraw some more amount of blood. 72 to 80 ml blood can be withdrawn easily from the body by this technique. Then, of course, the study size was very small because most of the patients were not ready to get this treatment because it's not very famous. And then the amount, yes, amount of blood comes again here. 30 ml was a very little amount. It should be increased to 70, 80 ml. Lack of long-term follow-up is another thing, because in our study, we have seen the blood pressure has come up again, the hypertension come up again on the 8th week. So to maintain the same kind of efficacy, more amount of blood should be withdrawn, and the therapy should be follow-up should be continued for few months, for 7 or 8 months. And this is one thing which I want to tell you, that we had withdrawn only 30 ml blood, but what we see in our practice, what we do in our hospital, in National Institute of General Medicine, we withdraw 70 to 80 ml of blood usually. And then we see that significant effect in the blood pressure, there is significant reduction in the blood pressure. It continues for a longer time, say for 7, 8 months. And then again, this has to be repeated. Thank you. Yeah. How's it?
The paper is open for discussion. If anyone
Probably a very naive question.
Yeah.
But what's the difference between withdrawing blood like this or the normal system when you donate blood?
See, actually, it's a very important question, but no studies have been done like this. We have seen by our own practice that when we withdraw blood by the syringe, I mean, there is no effect on the blood pressure. How many times do you give the blood like this for the blood test or for the things? But the blood pressure does not come, blood pressure does not reduce. But yeah, of course, there is something which has to be discovered scientifically, because the mechanism is not very clear. What happens basically in the body? Are there some changes in the hemodynamics take place after the cups are applied, because it has got some pressure effect also. And according to our theory, that it withdraws only the blood which is abnormal in temperament. That is also important.
But that, what about leech application?
Yeah.
Leech application also withdraws only the...
No, by leech application we cannot withdraw so much amount of blood.
I understand that.
Yeah, because leech only sucks 5 to 10 ml blood only.
Yes.
So it does not suck much blood. Yeah.
Can you afford to compare normal blood with this kind of blood? The blood which you removed by cupping was really different than the normal blood. Did you make any comparison?
Again, that's why in my slide, limitations of studies, I completely describe it. It was a very basic and very preliminary study, and we will build upon this other studies. So we have to do biochemical tests with the blood, and we have to do for a longer time.
This is enough.
Yeah.
And then why you are comparing the effect of this treatment with beta blockers? You are giving a regimental treatment comparing with a drug. Why you are doing so?
See, we have done many studies before this, and all those were observational studies. Now, because the gold standard is RCT, randomized control trial. If you do not do randomized control trial, then nobody is going to accept. Then there are some chance factors or some biases are there. Many things can creep into the study. That's why we had taken at least one which is considered as standard control, and beta blocker is given most of the time. So bioethical,
this is my question. This is not a standard control that you're using. Your control has to be similar to the test.
Actually, because the patient were of
you are not meeting the requirements of a golden, so-called golden mark of testing.
No, see, sir, because it was mild hypertension, so we had taken atenolol, because atenolol is easy, it is easily available, and most of the time it is given in most of the patient. Yeah, of course we had taken electrocardiogram to see if there was any block or there was any dilatation of the heart. I mean, anything like that. So
and the results are also not very significant. Statistically may be significant, but the difference of 10 millimeters of mercury in blood pressure is not a big difference. The statistics shows it is significant, but clinically it is not very important. 10 millimeters
no, sir. No. Sir, that's I'm telling you, that this effect we have seen in cases of mild hypertension only, and we could withdraw more amount of blood. Definitely I know that a lot of blood will not be decreased in mild hypertension, because the hypertension increases only from 140 to 159 mg, so we cannot reduce more in this case. Yeah, of course, if we are taking the cases of severe hypertension or the moderate hypertension, then we can withdraw more amount of blood and we can see a bit decline in the blood pressure. That would be significant.
No, this is even in modern medicine, in good old days,
Yeah.
they used to remove blood. Bloodletting was the method of treatment of hypertension in good old days,
Yeah.
when there were no good drugs. So the very idea is not so new. It could have been better work if you compare the blood drawn from your patient through cupping with ordinary bloodletting. Then could have given some idea. Otherwise, this study doesn't look to be of any sense.
That we'll do in future. That's a good suggestion. Yeah.
Sir, I would like to
Yeah.
answer some of his points, what he has not completed in this regard. First of all, sir, I would like to highlight what is there in Tibbe Unani regarding this cupping or hijama. Our basic concept is that, sir, what blood you see in circulation is not only the single blood. It is suspended with all the four humors in a definite proportion and ratio. There is phlegm, there is black bile, there is bile, as well as there is pure blood. So all together is suspended in the bloodstream according to our whole concept, and that has been subjected towards circulation. And Avicenna states that the blood which is in the circulation is nourishing almost all the cells of the body. तमाम बाफ्तों के लिए एकसां तौर पर nourishment करता है. How it nourishes? When they have fixed up to some temperaments, there are 4 temperaments in Tibbe Unani. So a few organs are said to be moist, a few dry, a few hot, and a few cold. So accordingly, the health or that humor has to nourish those particular organs. So as the blood gushes towards that particular organ, which is having a hot temperament, like liver, then that blood should have a concentration of saffra or black bile to nourish the liver. Likewise, if it gushes towards brain, then it should be enriched with more with phlegm. So likewise, almost all the organs are nourished. So simultaneously, what our learned scholar has told that only mere removal of 30 milliliter of blood from the body is giving good results. It was not so. So there are also some doctrines, there are also some concepts regarding istafraq and all these things. So if blood is to be corrected either quantitatively or qualitatively, we have to adopt venesection. So for venesection methods, again they have got a prescribed menu for that one. For particular diseases, particular vein is to be punctured and blood is to be let out. Probably what I have understood with this means, for that particular area, for that particular disease, that particular vein, if it is punctured, then automatically the periphery which has contained with that blood, utilized blood, might have come out. So again, it is a logical thing, and it needs more and more explanation. But what is there in Tibbe Unani. And now if we compare Tibbe Unani along with the modern parameters, sometimes we feel difficult. But as a scientific evaluation, when the scholar has come out with some deliberations, definitely he wants to do justice and he wants to do something to have a positive research in this regard, and he requires total appreciation. Though there may be some lacunas, but we should appreciate him, and if some pinpoints are there, we have to highlight in them in what area he is lagging behind so that he can rectify and he can